Life as We Know It with Tom Walton.
We've all seen the signs. They're in storefronts, they're on utility poles, they're on street corners. They all say the same thing: help wanted. Thanks to a historically unprecedented set of unfortunate circumstances, thousands of jobs, perhaps millions of them, are going unfilled these days. Let's look back to the beginning of the pandemic, when millions of Americans began working from home rather than risk their health in the workplace. Many employers also discovered they could achieve pre-pandemic efficiency with fewer employees. Then, as the months dragged by, the government did what it could to soften the financial blows of the coronavirus. For those whose jobs were lost, unemployment benefits were extended beyond their usual time limits. Stimulus checks were issued not once but twice to help Americans cope. Now we are seeing the downside of all that largesse. Millions of us who could go back to work are choosing not to. The result is being felt not just here in Toledo, northwestern Ohio, and southeastern Michigan, but across the land, including, believe it or not, our 50th state, America's paradise, Hawaii. A state which relies on tourism for more than a fourth of all jobs is having a hard time gearing back up. Across the islands, an estimated 40,000 jobs in the hospitality industry are going begging. The irony is that after a disastrous 2020 for Hawaiian tourism, 2021 is bouncing back big time. Tourists are flocking back to Hawaii in greater numbers than ever, but many hotels, restaurants, and resorts are not ready for them. Employers are starting to get desperate, offering incentives to job prospects. Agree to come in for an interview, and one eco-tour company will give you a complimentary snorkel tour to the Molokini Crater. Folks in Hawaii whose job it is to study this stuff say that while unemployment benefits and stimulus checks have been a factor in discouraging full employment, there is another reason: outward migration. Some of the luster of the Hawaiian dream has faded. At least 16,000 people have disappeared from the state's labor force since the pandemic began, according to the University of Hawaii. Most of them were lured back to the mainland U.S. by other opportunities and more favorable living costs. The people who stayed and went back to their old jobs are working harder than ever because of the tourism surge this summer. Managers and administrators at fancy resorts are doing some of the heavy lifting these days. Helping arriving guests with their luggage is a literal case in point. The laws of supply and demand are also at work here. Some of Hawaii's luxury hotels are charging as much as $3,000 a night these days, as much as 4 times what the fancy suites normally cost. So far, despite the shortage of labor, mainlanders apparently are willing to pay the cost. One travel agent is booking 10-day family vacations that can run $50,000. I'd love to go back to Hawaii someday, but I think I'll wait until things calm down in the Aloha State.
Life as We Know It is written and hosted by Tom Walton and is a production of WGTE Public Media. Life as We Know It with Tom Walton can be heard on WGTE FM 91 every Monday afternoon during All Things Considered at 5:44 p.m. Or hear past episodes at WGTE.org/life.